Welcome back. Australians love our coffee. We drink more than 1 billion cups of coffee from cafes and restaurants every year. And I'm sure the Sky News business team makes up about 1/3 of that intake. The Australian franchise sector also loves coffee, and franchise models selling coffee hotter, faster and in ever more cafes are springing up around Australia. It's just one of the interesting trends in franchising for 2011. I'm joined now by Ian Krawitz from Research Service 10,000 Feet. And we do love our coffee, Ian. Thank you for joining us and telling us about this big trend in franchises. It is the case, is it not, that over the last few years we've seen a growth of the coffee shop in Australia. What do you think's been behind that?
Yeah, I guess we've seen a growing demand for coffee services. We see the instant coffee bean sales going down. A lot of people in their own homes are now buying beans to make their cappuccino or latte at home, and they're also going out and purchasing coffee in increasing numbers. And guess what we're seeing on the franchisor side of things is they're recognising there's an appetite from the Australian consumer, and they're also seeing that there's an increasing number of formats that are possible in terms of delivering coffee to the market. So in the past you would have maybe seen the Gloria Jeans of the world or the coffee clubs. Now you've got people like Muzzbuzz drive-through coffee, where they're getting people on their way to work who want a drive-through experience, or the likes of Coffee Guru, who have taken something like Gloria Jeans model and made it a bit more, I guess, lower end for a franchisee getting into the system with flat fees.
Tell me more about them. And that's at the heart of this, isn't it? It's not just coffee shops, it's other ways to get coffee to people.
Yeah, certainly. You look at somebody like Espresso Delight. They've got now over 100 franchisees across the country, expanding into New Zealand and taking it offshore as well. And what they do is they go and put coffee machines into people's offices, so they can get a great cup of coffee rather than having to go with
the coffee shop to the business rather than have the business come to the coffee shop. Muzzbuzz, that was one of the franchise operations you mentioned. What is it?
So Muzzbuzz, they're big over in the west, in Western Australia, and also growing in the east largely through Victoria. And effectively, as it sounds, a drive-through coffee business. So you place your order, they make it there for you fresh and hot. You don't have to get out of your car. They also sell some add-ons, things like pies and muffins as well. So they're certainly bringing a slightly different edge to it.
Toffee.
Yeah, there's a few people following that model, and then you've got other people who are starting to get stronger in the market. I think I mentioned Mrs. Fields Coffees. Sorry, Mrs. Fields Cookies.
Cookies. who does coffee?
Yeah, better known for their treats.
Is there not a risk, though, that we see a saturation across the marketplace in delivery of coffee, or is there a sense that Australians will drink more coffee? Is there more space?
Look, I think there's a sense that they'll drink more coffee. Stats show over the last 30 years Australians have consumed almost double what they were consuming 30 years ago, and in the last 10 years alone, I think it's a 65% increase in the number of cups of coffee being sold. So, trends are good, and when Australian businesses and franchisors are finding different ways to get to market and to fill all those little niches when somebody might want a coffee, I think there's a lot of optimism in the sector.
Let's talk about franchising in 2011. Research from Griffith University late last year found that the number of franchisees between 2008 and 2010 is down about 7%, but the surviving operations have actually grown. Is that what you found to be the case? And I always have to be careful here because the franchisee is the operation, isn't it? And the franchisor is the store. No, the franchisor is the model owner and the franchisee is the store.
Yes, right on. Yeah.
Okay. What did we see post the global financial crisis?
Well, I guess we saw for the franchisors, so the head office, we saw a shrinking in the number of franchisors out there. So there were over 1,000 plus systems. When the GFC came along, for a lot of those franchisors and head offices, they didn't have economies of scale yet where they had enough franchisees in their system. So it just wasn't economically viable for them to be there as operators and franchisors. So the numbers there contracted a little bit, and in so doing, I guess the franchisees that were part of that system also contracted a little bit. We've also seen a roll-up and consolidation in a number of areas, but yeah, there is positive news that franchise systems on the whole, are growing. We saw in our latest research double-digit growth across the franchising sector over the last year. So certainly positive signs there. I guess a financial downturn does tend to weed out some of the people who maybe weren't going to be that strong in hard times, and for the better operators, it's certainly providing opportunity for growth.
It prompted, did it not, franchisors to be a little more supportive of the franchisees, and you've seen examples of better mentoring, better human resources. Is that a trend in the relationship between the two we'll see this year?
Yeah, definitely. I guess the GFC saw the cost of acquisition for franchisors looking to get new franchisees into their business really skyrocket by some 70%.
Wow.
So with that, franchisors realised that they really need to consolidate their base, maybe not strive quite as hard for growth, and look internally to support their franchisees better and look for, I guess, natural growth and organic growth. One of the upshots to that for franchisees and for new franchisees looking at the business is we saw year on year, if you go back, about 12 months to 24 months ago, only 42% of franchisors had a mentoring program in place. Now some 80% have a mentoring program in place. And that's one of the key things in franchising is you're looking for support. And it's great news, I think, for the industry that so many franchisors are taking a look in their own backyard and saying, what can we do to have a stronger system, more stable system? And they're taking further steps. So, for example, now 70% of franchisors are training the mentors. So if you're going to mentor somebody, you want to have the skills and the quality to be able to effectively guide them. So I think there's some really positive things that have come out of the GFC in terms of franchisors taking that opportunity to look internally to provide better support.
And that's one of the benefits if you're a franchisee entering into a system, investing into a system, a mentoring program. What are the other advantages of being in a franchise relationship versus being an independent operator? Because I'm sure there are many small businesses who consider that.
Yeah, certainly. You mentioned mentoring. That's just one part of the support piece, is being guided to success. Being able to hear the success stories of fellow franchisees. So a lot of the better systems will benchmark the key performance indicators. So you might be able to find out, well, I'm really lacking in this area, but the franchisee 3 suburbs away is doing really well in this area. How can I go and learn from that?
The marketing and branding must be a biggie.
Yeah, spot on. Brand is really big. If you're looking at setting up your own business or becoming a franchisee, if you find a franchise with a good brand, straight away so much of your hard work has been done for you, because all the consumers will know the brand, and therefore once they know it, it's in their mindset, and they're willing to purchase from you if they have a positive attitude towards that brand. So you don't have to go and spend all this money getting the brand established. If you want to do your marketing, you can do it on tactical promotions that are going to drive sales and repeat visits. So,
and often those support structures, I imagine, in a franchise relationship are there for branding. Logo design, marketing material is often shared amongst the franchise franchisees, is it not?
Yeah, you've got your branding and your marketing at a national level, and then you'll also have local area marketing support. So a lot of franchise systems will have all the collateral ready to go, and you just plug in your location, they okay it, and send it off to the local printer, and off you go.
What control does the franchisor, the head office, have over the business? And I know different models have different levels of control, but for example, changing a location is often very, very difficult under a franchise system. Is that one of the advantages of being an independent operator, for example?
Yeah, spot on. I guess you may want to change the location if there's some rent issues that come up, if you're looking at a retail business or a service provider, if you move an area. For a more established franchise system, that can be challenging because you'll often have territories that are assigned for that franchise business, and if you want to move outside of that territory, you're going to have issues if there's already a franchisee in a neighbouring territory. So if you're ambitious and you're looking to expand your business and grow, it's certainly one of the advantages of setting up your own shop, is that you're not really told when or where you can expand, because and often it's the right thing for a franchisor to do. They'll also recognise that certain franchisees aren't well suited to being a multi-unit owner. and they'll hold them back from that. I'd say that's a positive because they know the skill set they should have. But when you're running your own business, you're more master of your own destiny. It's your IP, it's your brand, and you have the ability to choose where and when you expand.
It would be a very difficult decision for any small business to make, whether to act as an independent operator or enter into a franchise system. But Ian Krawitz, you always are able to give us some background information from the research house 10,000 Feet. Thank you for joining Summer Money today.
Thanks, John.
Good on you.
Cheers.
Ian Krawitz from 10,000 Feet.